For today's Cyber CEO episode,
we have Cyberbacker that does outgoing calls for us, that does prospecting for us. We have cyberbackers that are handling our social media platforms. Anything administratively that can be done, they can do. The work ethic is extraordinary. We couldn't be more pleased in every single role. Their ability to accomplish things efficiently, quickly, with great care has been the experience so far. I like to think of it as there's all of these things being done in the background that I don't have to be part of, that are allowing me to do the things that are going to be most productive for me to grow my business. The work ethic, the professionalism, the communication, all of those are beyond expectation. Again, I'm one of those guys that said I should have done this 10 years ago because it's a game changer. And now we're looking at what other tasks can we bring Cyberbacker into, because it just makes so much sense.
welcome to Cyber CEO, wherein we talk about how our cyberbackers helped our cyber CEOs take their businesses to the next level. Cyber CEO is powered by Cyberbacker, the world's leading provider of admin support services from anywhere in the world to anyone in the world. Please visit our website www.cyberbacker.com for more details. Okay, another awesome day here at Cyberbacker. My name is Jello. We're back with another episode of Cyber CEO. And of course, we have a very special guest on the show right now. Heath, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Jello. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we're very excited to have you. And of course, we really appreciate your time. I know you're very busy. Now, to start things off, to let you know, we have a lot of listeners who are also business owners just like you. So I need your help. Can you introduce yourself to our audience? Maybe let's start off with, what's your role in the business, Heath?
Okay, sure. My name is Heath H. I am a operating principal and general manager for Keller Williams Realty in Southern California. I am the owner and operator of 3 Keller Williams franchises in Palm Springs, La Quinta, and Redlands, California.
There we go. Now, a lot of roles for you and a lot of hats for you to wear. But I'm curious, though, in the real estate world, how long have you been there?
I've been in real estate since 1998. And my father and business partner, Michael, and I opened our first Keller Williams franchise in 2004.
Gosh, a lot of experience, a ton of experience for you right there. But how about with virtual leverage? Is this your first time working with someone who's virtual?
It is. And there had always been hesitancy for us around virtual leverage. And, you look at every opportunity to find some sort of gratitude. And what the pandemic had taught us is that we can actually work virtually in a much more efficient manner than we ever thought we could. And so that was kind of the impetus for us to start exploring what virtual leverage might look like.
There we go. Again, it's a beautiful thing, the virtual world nowadays. Thank God for technology, right?
Oh, for sure. It's amazing what we can accomplish, and especially being in Southern California, if I don't have to drive somewhere to accomplish a meeting or a project, it always is going to be a much more pleasurable experience.
Of course. Now, before we dive into more about your Cyberbacker experience, I forgot to ask earlier, how did you find out about Cyberbacker?
So in the Keller Williams world, Cyberbacker had started to gather some momentum because it's founded by a Keller Williams agent and MAPS coach, Craig. And so it was kind of in the periphery, but we were at the point in our businesses where we wanted to be able to offer an in-house marketing solution for our agents. And so when we started doing our research around virtual leverage, Cyberbacker rose to the top very quickly. We were able to have conversations with current Cyberbacker clients, and the news was overwhelmingly positive around Cyberbacker being our choice to move forward.
There we go. That's good to know. And that's for all of our listeners. Again, if you'd like to know more about Cyberbacker, you can call a lot of people with their own Cyberbackers and get feedback from them before you even get your own Cyberbacker, of course. Now, you mentioned this earlier. This is your first time working with someone virtual. So was it a big change for you in the business? Because again, we were all used to working with people that we can meet personally. Now, everything's going a bit more virtual. So was it a big change?
You know, it was. It was in as much as in the physical world, we're used to seeing people on a daily basis in the environment that we show up to. So when we hired our first Cyberbacker, we had to get really purposeful about having ongoing communication, whether it be Zoom meetings, with our Cyberbacker, as we would with any other. And so as soon as we got adjusted to that, then it just took off. Because you want to have that communication. It's such a key component. And so once we were able to work out what that looked like and the logistics around that, it just ran from there.
There we go. Now, more about your Cyberbacker then. Your Cyberbacker experience, I mean, you went through the hiring process before getting partnered with any Cyberbacker. So how did that process go for you? Was it different? Was it different from what you were used to? Things like that?
In going through the hiring process in the past, it's one of the reasons that people don't hire people, because that process can be very laborious. You want to make sure you're making the right choice. You want to make sure it's the right fit for your company. And the way that Cyberbacker does the pairing process of finding the ideal match, the ideal Cyberbacker for you and for the role, is just brilliant. It's what's called a rapid fire interview, and it was me and a couple of my business partners. And the career backer that was running the interview, they had already screened a number of applicants and found, I think it was 4 or 5 of the best applicants that they could find that were going to be a great match for the role. And we went through just a rapid fire question and answer with each candidate one by one. And to tell you the truth, all 4 or 5 would have been a great match. It was just picking out who was the very best, who rose to the top. And it was great having my business partners involved with it too, to get their perspective around that. But I mean, the whole process probably took a half hour to 40 minutes, and we found our right match. And it's worked like that ever since with every Cyberbacker that we've got into business with. It's a brilliant process. And to think that the amount of applicants that Cyberbacker gets on a weekly basis, it's extraordinary to see these numbers where they're getting 15 to 20,000 applicants every week. And of those 15 to 20,000, they're passing maybe 100 to be even considered as applicants. You're getting the best of the best out there from the standpoint of candidates. So I can't say more positive things about that process. It was awesome.
Yes, again, they're only the best of the best for our cyber CEOs, of course. Now, talking more about Cyberbackers, what are the things or what are the tasks then that you leverage off to your Cyberbackers every day so you can focus on your business, Heath?
So we have a kind of a team of Cyberbackers in our various businesses that do different things for us. But at the end of the day, if they don't need to have a license or a certification, they don't need to be there physically, they can handle whatever tasks you identify that you need to have them do. So we have one Cyberbacker that handles our in-house marketing for us. We have another Cyberbacker that does outgoing calls for us, like an ISA type of role that does prospecting for us. We have Cyberbackers that are handling our social media platforms. So they're developing out throughout the day new campaigns. They're posting on our behalf. So anything administratively that can be done, they can do. And it's the work ethic is extraordinary. When I think about what objections that I had in the past around hiring virtual leverage, Cyberbackers based in the Philippines. So one of my big objections in the past was handling the English language and how's that going to work? And all of our Cyberbackers, most certainly speak English better than I do, and are highly professional. The work ethic is extraordinary, and we couldn't be more pleased in every single role. Their ability to accomplish things efficiently, quickly, and with great care has been the experience so far.
I think that's a norm. Again, just working with someone who probably is not even in the same country. I think that's a norm, that English could be a problem. But again, only the best of the best for our cyber CEOs, because everyone goes through that, of course, onboarding process with us as well, just to make sure that we have the best of the best, as what we talked about earlier. Now, how long have you been working with Cyberbackers? I forgot to ask that earlier.
I was thinking about that earlier today. I think it hasn't quite been a year. I think we're right around the 1 year mark that we've been working with Cyberbacker, and it was interesting because when we started off with them, it's right when Cyberbacker really started their growth mode, really started expanding around the country, and since then it's just taken off, and their presence, their brand recognition, and most importantly, their interest by candidates to be part of the organization, because the reputation they've built for themselves in the Philippines as being such a great organization to work for and work with is definitely in line with how we run our businesses. So it's been an outstanding journey.
Yeah, astounding journey and fairly new partnership, only going on your first year. Now, we have a lot of listeners, as I mentioned, who are also business owners. So some of them might have difficulty, of course, transitioning into the virtual world. So now my next question is, do you have any tips that you can share, though, with other business owners just like yourself that are going through that transition phase? So do you have any tips on how to create a strong partnership with someone who is virtual?
Yeah, I would say the expectations are the number one important item in any business relationship. So, when you get into a relationship with a cyberbacker, you want to have those mutual expectations around how do you prefer to be communicated with? Here's how I prefer to be communicated with. How do I win with you? This is how you win with me. How do I lose with you? This is how you lose with me. And really laying out the specific expectations that everybody has, because a business relationship with an assistant, with somebody in support, the only thing that is going to jeopardize that is if expectations are not being met. And if you don't have a conversation around those expectations, they're never going to be met. Somebody's going to be disappointed. So I think that's number one. I would say number two would be, however you've worked with somebody in the physical world before, that's how you need to work with your cyberbacker. So you need to have regular communication, regular meetings, regular conversations, and regular communication, because it's as important for you as the business owner to know what's going on their end. It's as important to them to know what's going on your end. The other piece of this that I would share is, I think there's always hesitancy in making a hire. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs, they're very hesitant to make a hire. They're concerned that their business is going to fluctuate. They don't want to be responsible when that happens. They think it's going to be too expensive. The beauty of Cyberbacker is you have all the benefits of really having with none of the risk. So it's the perfect world where you don't have to worry about, carrying workers' comp and all, especially I'm in California, all these various things you need to do to have one. You don't have that risk or that expense. Everybody I talk to that has decided to move forward with virtual leverage, specifically with Cyberbacker, their overwhelming response to me is, I should have done this a year ago. It is a game changer for you being able to take off of your plate the things that are not dollar productive for you, the things that you don't enjoy doing, the things that are getting in the way of you doing your one thing that's going to allow you to succeed and break through that ceiling. They can fill that void for you.
There we go. Again, time is something very, very important, not just in the business world, but just in life in general, right? Because it's something that you can't really get back, and it's something that money can't buy. So having that virtual leverage, again, would get you over that hump, that ceiling that you talked about earlier. So I think this is going to be the new age for like next 10, 20, 30 years from now, right? Don't you agree?
I do. I think, and like I said, I think if the pandemic has taught us anything, it's what we can accomplish virtually is above and beyond what our expectations were. So my words to the wise out there is just check it out. You're going to be amazed at what the experience is like, and it's gonna be well above whatever your expectation was.
Yes, of course. Just reach out. Cyberbacker will always be here. Now, one last question for you, Heath, and we just wanted to know, since you've had this partnership for, again, almost a year, what I'd like to know more of is, what do you like most about Cyberbacker? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
You know, I like to think of it as there's all of these things being done in the background that I don't have to be part of, that are allowing me to do the things that are going to be most productive for me to grow my business. And that's just happening. And like I said before, the work ethic, the professionalism, the communication, all of those are beyond expectation. Again, I'm one of those guys that said I should have done this 10 years ago, because it's a game changer, and we're looking at what other tasks can we bring Cyberbacker into, because it just makes so much sense.
Now, we are very, very excited to see where this partnership grows to, of course, for the next couple of years. And again, Heath, thank you very much for dropping by. I had fun talking to you today.
My pleasure, 𝗙𝗃𝗃. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to our daily dose of CyberCEO. Stay tuned to know more about how Cyberbacker creates a difference in this digital time and age. You can visit our website www.cyberbacker.com and follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify.